And, I think it can be really frustrating to me at times, and I think it's difficult. I think a lot of people sometimes think I'm a robot. I'm not a robot. I have emotions, I have feelings, and it can be really difficult to go through a lot of that. And
now, we heard a bunch of talk about, Fever fan, Caitlin Clark fans sticking together and no showing the games and boycotting the game and this and that. And man, oh man, this picture doesn't spell good news for the WNBA. I'm just gonna blow this up here. This does not look good. This does not look good. You can see empty seats all
right now. Behind the closed doors of the WNBA's front offices, panic is reportedly setting in. The league's multimillion-dollar financial foundation isn't just under pressure, it is facing one of its biggest challenges in recent memory. Just hours after the league celebrated Caitlin Clark by naming her Player of the Month, reports suggest she delivered a message that immediately reignited debate throughout the basketball world. Then came another major development. It was officially announced that Caitlin Clark would not play in Sunday's game. The moment that injury report became public, the reaction was immediate. Ticket markets shifted dramatically, with resale prices falling almost instantly. According to widespread reports and online discussion, overall fan engagement also declined, with some observers claiming the league experienced an overnight drop in interest. If you think this is simply about a routine injury update or a scheduled absence, many fans believe the situation goes much deeper. The conversation intensified even further when teammate Sophie Cunningham addressed the media with an emotional message that challenged the league's handling of the situation. Before stepping away from the spotlight, she reportedly shared remarks that many believe have become one of the defining moments of this growing controversy, leaving fans questioning what comes next for both the Indiana Fever and the WNBA as a whole.
I don't know. How just like sometimes the of a season, it's like you're on a high, sometimes you're on a low, and it's on the grind. We're in the grind right now. We just haven't like fully clicked yet, and like we have all the potential. So when we do, it's gonna be really good. But like we're getting to the point of like, all right, like what has to give, what has to sacrifice, what do we need to do to actually even start tapping into that potential? So I don't know.
I think so. I think other people would be curious about this. Obviously, anytime anything happens, like I don't even know if anyone got teed up. Like they didn't review the foul on Caitlin last night, did they? I don't think they.
The WNBA believed it could protect the status quo, but it never expected Caitlin Clark to respond the way she did. Stay tuned, because we're about to break down the footage that many fans believe the league doesn't want everyone talking about. To understand why Sunday's game is facing the threat of a massive fan boycott, we have to go back to the exact moment everything changed. It wasn't viewed as just another basketball play. Instead, many fans saw it as an escalating moment of aggressive contact. According to widespread reactions online, Alyssa Thomas delivered a hard hit that left people inside the arena, and millions watching from home completely stunned. Many viewers described the play as obvious, flagrant, and dangerous. But what happened next fueled even more controversy. Many fans believed the referees failed to respond the way they should have. Critics argued that the officials appeared to let the play continue, leaving the league's biggest star without the protection they expected. Many observers, it felt as though the expectation was simple. Caitlin Clark would absorb the contact, remain silent, and continue carrying the league's growing popularity. The belief among many fans was that she was expected to accept the situation without pushing back, while continuing to generate record-breaking attention for the WNBA.
I think things like that, and I think a lot has obviously come after that, and as I've stood up here and said before, like the harassment, the hate, none of that is okay. That goes for the opposing team we play, that goes for my teammates, that goes for my coaches. There should never be a question of character. Like I've always stood up here and said that, and that's truly what I believe. That's how I was raised. So, none of that is okay, and I don't want anybody to ever experience that. I think it can be really frustrating to me at times, and I think it's difficult. I think a lot of people sometimes think I'm a robot. I'm not a robot. I have emotions, I have feelings, and it can be really difficult to go through a lot of that. And I'm 24 years old trying to navigate a lot, and I think at times I've been in this world for 4 years now, and you would never change any of it, but there are times that it is hard, and there are times that it probably affects me a little bit more than I do put on. And I would never change any of that for the world, but I think it's important that people do remember that part of it too. So, at the same time.
But they completely underestimated who they were dealing with. Immediately after being named Player of the Week, Caitlin Clark reportedly went on the offensive. She strongly pushed back against Alyssa Thomas' post-game remarks, challenging the narrative that had been circulating behind the scenes. Clark didn't just criticize the play itself. She also addressed what she described as a culture of double standards and ongoing frustration that, in her view, had been building for months. Her message was direct, emotional, and forceful, cutting through the league's carefully managed public image. However, the biggest shockwave didn't come from Caitlin Clark alone. It came from inside the locker room. Then came Sophie Cunningham. Until now, many players had remained quiet, fearing fines and possible repercussions for speaking publicly. But watching her teammate go through another controversial situation reportedly pushed Sophie to her breaking point. During an emotional backstage exchange, Sophie confronted league representatives with unmistakable frustration. Sources close to the team claim her comments were so intense that officials attempted to keep the situation from becoming public. She demanded answers about why the league continued to profit from its biggest stars while, in her opinion, failing to provide enough protection for them on the court. The emotion was impossible to ignore. Sophie made it clear that the players no longer wanted to feel like corporate assets operating inside what they viewed as an unfair system. This was no longer just one teammate defending another. To many observers, it signaled a much deeper conflict between players and league leadership. The message was unmistakable: protect the integrity of the game or risk losing the trust that has fueled the league's recent growth. And judging by Sunday's situation, many believe that trust is already under serious pressure. Now let's look at the numbers, because this is where the league's biggest challenge becomes impossible to ignore. Much of the WNBA's recent growth, from national television exposure to major sponsorship deals, has been closely tied to the popularity surrounding Caitlin Clark. Many believed the momentum would continue regardless of who was available to play. But once reports confirmed Clark would miss Sunday's game, fan interest appeared to cool significantly. According to widespread reports, ticket resale prices dropped dramatically. Arenas that were expected to generate major revenue suddenly faced the possibility of much smaller crowds. The excitement that had driven record attendance was beginning to fade, and many fans simply chose to stay home.
That thing in between their ears, called a brain, they don't really use it. And when they do use it, they don't use it well. Oops. Moving on. Caitlin Clark also named the Eastern Conference Player of the Month by the WNBA. Now, this actually surprises me. Not that she doesn't deserve it, but that they actually gave it to her. You know what I mean? Not that she doesn't deserve it, because I know she does. But after all this hoopla, after all this hoopla, if you get it, if you get that reference, you get that. What a load of hoopla. Her winning the Eastern Conference Player of the Month, I'm surprised the WNBA gave it to her with all of this stuff going on. Averaging 21.9 points per game, 45.6% from the field, 8.2 assists, and 4 rebounds per game. Historical numbers. Historical numbers. So shout out to Caitlin Clark for winning Eastern Conference Player of the Month. Now this is Rose Gold. Her last name's harder to pronounce than Shanae's. This is Rose Gold talking about Caitlin Clark. Should she publicly address the online hate? Let's take a look.
Do I think Caitlin should say something? I don't think that she has the responsibility to. I think it's still a lot. It's unfair to put that on a player, but I have a lot less grace for it than I did in 2024, where I was like, hey, she just got here. There's so many people using her to, further agendas. She's a kid, blah, blah, blah. This is now 3 years into her career. And if she's silent, it's her decision to do so. And it will be read as such. I don't think she has to, but the choice to be silent is also an action. And that will be judged. And for me, this is the opinion of Roz. I think it would be cool to hear from Caitlin. I think she's a good person. I'm sure she's not at all, hoping these types of things happen to her fellow colleagues of the WNBA. I think it'd be cool if she was like, yo, don't do this.
And this 5% drop in core viewership is only the beginning. Mainstream corporate sponsors are reportedly holding emergency meetings right now. They didn't invest millions of dollars to promote empty arenas and controversial on-court moments. They signed on to be part of the momentum created by a new era of women's basketball by choosing to stand behind Alyssa Thomas and the league's established stars instead of fully protecting their biggest attraction. WNBA leadership has, according to many critics, alienated its most valuable audience. The league's financial foundation is beginning to show serious cracks, and there doesn't appear to be an easy solution. Now, the biggest question sending shockwaves throughout the basketball world is this: is Caitlin Clark's absence just for one game, or are we witnessing the beginning of something much bigger involving both Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham? The language surrounding the situation hasn't focused on recovering or returning stronger next week. Instead, it has centered on frustration and a growing sense of betrayal. Insiders continue to speculate that private conversations are taking place behind closed doors regarding their long-term future in professional basketball. If the league fails to take stronger action against dangerous plays and inconsistent officiating, the possibility of a long-term walkout is no longer being dismissed by many observers. It has become a topic of serious discussion.
A lot of the times, and we can do better at that. And I think it'll help our game grow a lot more. And that goes for obviously the Fever and whatever. But at the same time, you know, you guys are here in this arena every time we play. And the amount of people that are passionate and love the game and respect the other team and the young girls and the young boys that show up, like, we can't lose sight of that. And that's whether we're here at home and whether that's we're on the road. And, you know, there's a lot of really, really great people that, you know, love this league and love our organization. And, you know, I'm thankful to be here in an organization that has my back and will always stand up for me. And, you know, I think we can't ever lose sight of that. Like, the joy and the fire and the fun, like, that's why you play this game. And I think it kind of goes back to a little bit of my frustration. Like, I remember seeing a headline is like, and I don't remember who wrote this, and I try to stay away from social media as much as I can, but sometimes it can be hard. Like, I need to be aware of certain things, and obviously my team makes me aware of certain things. And it was like, the headline read like, this season has been everything but fun, and they're just full of frustration for Clark and the Fever. And I'm like, no one ever asked me that. Nobody ever asked me that. Like, that's wrong. Like, they're like, discuss my play. Discuss if I played bad. Discuss if I played good. Like, discuss our play. And at times I understand there's other things that need to be talked about. Great, whatever. But let's continue to move on and, you know, things like that. And, but I think just focusing on the joy and the amazing parts of this game, like I said, I think it's sometimes a disservice to not only our team, but to everybody else. And, you know, let's get back to a lot more smiling and positivity. I think our world could use a lot of that. And then
does the league provide for you guys as players to kind of help you try to filter through some of the hate and negative things that come through on social media?
You know, I think that honestly, I don't know what our league does to help with that. If they really do anything, you know, you can put out statements as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you're in an entertainment business. That's when mental toughness comes in. If you're going to live by praise, you're going to die by the hate. And so I think that's on the individual person to have mental toughness. Some people can deal with it, some people can't. And I think you can see the ones who can. And unfortunately, there are some who can't. And it's not beneficial to them. But you can't control what other people say or what other people do. All you can do is control yourself, how you treat people. Speak up, you know, and support people who, you know, maybe don't have a voice or don't have the courage to do that. But you know, it's one of those things. You're in the entertainment business and you have to expect it.
How do you try to filter through some of that stuff, or you just avoid it?
I don't know if you guys don't know, but I don't care. Like, I don't care. And I think that's with the good stuff, like the meme, like, I think that's funny and it's cool, but like, is that my whole identity and that's what I'm thriving on? No, it's not. Like, I think it's funny. But yeah, I just don't care. I think people are funny, people are dumb, and you know, they let them do them. I'm just going to stay
in my lane. Those were the words they left behind before walking away. But what was said next has reportedly created a lasting divide between the players and the front office. The WNBA may have believed it was too big to fail, but it overlooked one crucial reality. Fans don't simply support a league, they support what they believe is the truth. And right now, many believe that truth is pointing toward a historic turning point. The league may have wanted to quiet this story, but the numbers are telling their own story. Sunday's game is expected to draw intense attention, and executives are feeling the pressure as the controversy continues to grow. Now we want to hear from the people who truly drive this sport, you. Are you planning to boycott the league until you believe meaningful action is taken? Do you think this marks the end of what many have called the WNBA's golden era? Share your honest thoughts in the comments below. Don't hold back. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're following every new development as this story continues to unfold. You won't want to miss our next breaking update. We'll see you in the comments.